Zimbabwe will have a new currency. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has criticized U.S. economic policy as his country hosts the Chinese president at a flagship investment event. Putin says the U.S. is trying to spread its jurisdiction across the world, and as Dan Ashby reports from Moscow, Russia is making an effort to reach out to China instead.
The panda is one of the symbols of China, and like this cub, Chinese-Russian relations are growing bigger all the time. This was just one of the gifts from President Xi on his 3-day visit to Russia. But perhaps the biggest one was his appearance at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, where both he and President Putin took aim at the US.
It is how the United States, I regret to say that, acts today. It extends its jurisdiction across the whole world. This model not only contradicts the normal logic of communication between the nations in this complex multipolar world, most importantly, it does not meet the challenges of the future.
Russia and China are both facing economic obstacles from the US, and they are united in their response. From the smiles and laughter between President Xi and Putin to the multi-million-dollar pacts, this was a message from two Eastern superpowers to one Western one. Russia and China want the US to know that if it keeps hurting their economic interests, they will begin to find strength in each other instead. But though Sino-Russian trade has topped $100 billion, it is still nowhere near as big as China's trade with the US, and US sanctions against Russia seem to be working.
The Chinese investments has reduced, and there is a prospect for the near future that they will be reducing time by time. The reason is that some very big Chinese companies are a little bit scared of secondary United States sanctions.
Presidents Xi and Putin also attended a show at the famous Bolshoi Theatre. There they spoke once again of Chinese-Russian friendship. But in truth, neither country wants to cut off the West, and this trip was about making the US sit up and listen, because they are becoming increasingly robust in dancing to their own tune. Dan Ashby, SABC News, Moscow.